How you doing? It's Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator here on YouTube, and thank you for joining me for today's episode of the Life Regenerator Show. I just got back from a tea party, and there was a lot of caffeine in the tea, which I wasn't really aware of until now. There was definitely some caffeine in that tea. I hope I sleep tonight. Taffy, I want to introduce you to my friend here on YouTube. Taffy and I ran into each other, it must have been a little more than a week ago.
A little more than a week ago.
And since then, I've been adopted by her.
Yep.
And we've been hanging out a lot. But what I really want to share is your experience with the raw food so that we can really inspire and educate and motivate people to take better care of themselves. Now, you know about raw foods for years, right?
For about 10 years, I was probably 70% raw, but still eating off and on bread and cheese. And it wasn't helping because those foods were addictive. And when I ate them, I wanted to eat more of them, which took me away from eating the raw foods. And so...
Was it mostly bread and cheese?
Mostly...
I mean, other little things too here and there?
Some pasta, but and some grains.
Yeah. Okay. So mostly grains and then cooked dairy products.
Cooked dairy products.
Were kind of the things that you were battling with yourself.
Right.
And so whenever we ran into each other, I think it seems like it's been more than a week. It seems like it's been...
Something like that. And I was really so you sparked something in me to just want to go for it and go fully raw. There was
without even saying anything.
Without even saying anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you and you looked familiar, and I thought, who is that guy at the Ashland Co-op? And I thought, that's Dan. Yeah, I've watched all of his videos. Whoa, cool. He's in Ashland. Wow, I had no idea. And so I approached you, and then we talked a little bit, and we just hit it off.
Yeah, we did.
And you inspired me, and I am inspired, and I will continue to be inspired by you.
Epic. And you have been just such a wonderful light in my life as well. Just taking care of me and treating me like a son.
Yeah.
You know, with your wisdom and your nurturing. It's made a big difference in my life. It seems like more than a week, but I guess if I think about it, it was about a week
It's a little bit more than a week, and in a week I've been completely raw, drinking 2 quarts of juice a day.
With the dandelions, because you got the liver stuff.
Right, and eating some salads, not eating a lot of food. I haven't been hungry.
That's what I'm
I've just
saying.
needed to cleanse. I've lost 10 pounds.
In a week.
In a week.
Shall we say what that 10 pounds was?
Yeah, I think it was, you call it P-O-O-P.
10 pounds of poop in a week, baby.
10 pounds of poop. And I had been having problems with my digestive system and elimination and...
Bread and cheese, man.
Bread and cheese.
Boom.
Yep. And so I don't ever want to eat that stuff again. Never. Because as soon as you start, you get addicted to it and you can't stop.
Well, one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video was just that what you've been telling me about the mental clarity.
Right.
The fog lifting.
Yeah, my eyes are brighter, they're open, the fog is lifted, I'm sleeping really good, just going into my subconscious mind and having dreams. My bladder and kidneys are functioning like perfect.
So you were 70% raw, but it was just those cooked foods, the processed foods that you were eating that were just, at this point, you could say without reservation, was holding you back.
It was holding me back.
From being the best you could be. Why were you eating those things when you knew better?
Well, because I have family, and I thought when I'm with my family, I'm going to eat what my family's eating, because I felt like it was the heartfelt thing to do.
Yeah. What do you think about that now?
Well, I think about that now is I believe they're understanding enough. They don't take offense if I say, no thank you, I'll have salad, or I brought my juice. They're fine with it.
Yeah, so it was really, could it have even maybe been an unconscious excuse in a way?
Possibly.
Okay, I'm not gonna like grill you.
Yeah, no, it's true, it could have been. But see, I was thinking, I want to receive what they give to me. And,
Yeah, I did that once in Mexico when I was riding my bike through Mexico, and I ate 10 oranges and 2 coconuts and rode 100 miles through the desert. And I was in the middle of that philosophy, and I showed up, and here were these guys with frying fish and frying potatoes, and this is way back at the beginning of my raw food journey. And then I ate, I didn't eat the fish because it was weird. They would throw a whole fish in there. That's weird. But I did eat some of the potatoes with salsa and drink a Corona. And I remember that was one of the experiences in my life that changed me forever, because when I rode 100 miles through the 100-degree desert through Mexico on just 10 oranges and 2 coconuts, that's when I had an awakening of, wow, you don't need, like the bodybuilding thing was like, oh, you need all this food to have energy. But my eyes were so bright, my mind was so clear, I could feel God in me, filling me. And that's after 100 miles, and I felt great. And I wasn't even hungry, but I was into that philosophy of if someone offers it to you. So I had the potatoes with the salsa and a Corona, and it took me from the heavenly heights way, way, way down. And I never forgot that experience, and I've wanted to work my way back to that space. So, I quit that philosophy. This is
right,
this is my temple, man.
Yeah, I quit. I'm not doing that anymore with anybody.
So you've had like a shift on more levels.
I've been transformed this week. Just completely transformed, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Because you decided that your priorities are your priorities.
Right. That I have to take care of me, that I need to love me, because everybody else is out there loving themselves, and who's going to take care of me if I don't? And how can I take care of them if I haven't been taking care of myself?
And their food, the way they love themselves with their food might be different than yours.
Right.
And that's cool. But you know what's better for you.
Right.
And that's why I'm just making this video, because I want to encourage everybody to realize that, if you want the fog to lift, I mean, how many times do I got to go through this? I had a thing with like baked potatoes for a while as a sedative.
That was my thing, was potatoes, crusty bread, goat cheese, oatmeal.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. And oatmeal. I had oatmeal every night, to go. It was like my comfort food. Those were my comfort foods. But I was on my way to raw because I had certain foods that were my comfort foods that I really enjoyed, and so I was kind of focusing on those foods.
But now you've been 100% raw all week, eating a lot less, lost 10 pounds off of your gut, energy, mental clarity. I mean, I've heard it so many times, but you can never make too many videos because you never know who's going to hear that and then be like, you know what, I'm going to up my game tomorrow, drink some juice, eat a salad, eat some fruit, make a smoothie, whatever it is, and then try to really, it's a matter of eliminating the offenders.
Right.
And those grains and stuff, I don't care what anybody says, man, they contain elements that are, they're not conducive to the highest levels of absorption, utilization, and they leave a track layer, which makes the next meal harder to absorb, and then you don't get all the nutrition, then you need to eat more and more. And when you're just like on juice and some salads, you're getting so much nutrient density that you can eat a lot less. You're absorbing it because you have osmosis through the GI tract that doesn't have that caked layer of the cheese.
Right.
The cheese layer is going to be, just rub some cheese on the wall and just look at it. And think about that coating that goes down your whole throat, and then you do it again, 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 and it becomes a thicker wall, and it's harder for the nutrition to penetrate that wall. Same thing with the grains,
We met at the right time because I was beginning to have sleep apnea and waking up in the middle of the night, and I had to catch my breath because I couldn't breathe. And I noticed when I ate cheese, it was happening. And so I kind of tested it out and saw that when I ate cheese, and I ate really good cheese, organic. And
It's cooked though.
it's cooked, yeah. I
and
ate
the proteins
cheese.
are coagulated.
And then I went to my son's and I ate some other cheese. I don't want to say the name, but just it was all oily and just, it wasn't
Lower quality.
lower quality. And that night I woke up and I thought I was being smothered. And so I was thinking, I can't eat cheese anymore.
The
But
cooked dairy is hard on the lungs.
And
you
know what?
You know that, right? You know that now, or did you know that before?
I didn't know that.
Oh man, cooked dairy is hard on the lungs, and you will get asthma, you'll get bronchitis, you'll get mucus. A little bit of mucus is good; it protects the tissues. But a lot of mucus, layer after layer after layer after layer after layer, then it becomes rubbery and you're just clogged. And it does that. The body does that. It also throws up a layer of protective mucus. So you have the protective mucus, and you've got the mucus that's left over from the coagulated proteins and coagulated fats and denatured carbohydrates. And so you denature the food, and your body doesn't know what to do with it after billions of years of understanding its own processes.
Well, the great thing is that I'm not hungry. I feel like my body is nourished. And I'm not hungry, but I know that I need to, I wouldn't go without eating, but I know what I need to put into my body now. I know what my body needs, and it feels good. And everything tastes so good.
The palate.
The palate,
It's
yeah.
cleaner.
Yeah, the juices, the green powders, they taste good to me. They taste so yummy.
So you are at a whole nother level of health because you went from 70% raw to 100% raw.
Right.
You've removed the offenders. That's what holds people back. And if you love yourself enough and you care enough about really how you're, engaged with your own life, you can make some good decisions, because I'll tell you, raw foods is a game changer for real. When it's clean, pure, fresh, organic, high water, nutrient dense, easily absorbable, in simple combinations that are designed to absorb and utilize, man,
Right.
game changer. So I'm hoping that this video inspired you in some way. Change your game up, show up better, release the poop, release the fog, open up the heart, get the lungs working better, keep the hair.
The whole elimination, yeah, the bladder, the kidneys.
Everything's better.
Everything's better.
Word.
And caffeine, I only had a little bit once in a while, but it still affected me. Now my bladder, I don't have to run to the bathroom. I can drink 2 quarts of juice, all the water I want, and I'm absorbing it.
Hydration.
Yeah, I'm really becoming hydrated. It's not just going through me.
Which is another result of the cheese and the grains, which causes the hydration, the minerals and the vitamins, it can't penetrate because
Right.
it leaves this layer of slime, and then it just slips through, and so you're really just having expensive pee and expensive poop.
Right.
And when you get that wall cleaned out and everything's absorbing, then you don't need to eat as much. It's a pretty ingenious concept, isn't it? The porousness of your system. And if you eat those coagulating foods, it's just going to be more difficult to really get hydrated, alkalized, and have energy. And oxygen utilization, mineral utilization, and conductivity. It's electricity. Those foods, the grains and the cheese and that type of thing, the dead foods as I call them, will inhibit conductivity, which is electrical flow, and you'll be like a battery that just dies after like 5 minutes. And then you'll have to have another shot of caffeine or some more sugar or whatever it is. But once you get really the conductivity flowing there with the minerals and the hydration, then your battery will charge up while you sleep, and you'll have more energy throughout the day with a lot less food and a lot less need for stimulating. You don't need to jump. You don't need to jump start your car every time because you have a brand new battery because you've got that conductivity. See?
Right.
Can you dig it, baby?
I dig it.
All right. Can you dig it, baby? All right. DTM. No more caffeine for me. Nah, it's pretty good though. Actually, it was very high quality tea, and I had a great time tonight. Thank you, Mama. We're awesome.
We're awesome.
You're awesome.
I love you.
I love you too, Taffy. We love you, and we're out of here. Peace.